So we have a couple of people coming in. Hey, Robert. Hey, Greg.
Hi there.
We'll get started here in a few minutes, right at the top of the hour. Got some other folks jumping on, but glad you're here with us.
All right, sounds good. Hello.
Hey, Erica, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Rocco?
Another day in paradise.
I like the sound of that.
That's how we roll. Everybody, make sure you keep your cameras off and your mics muted, right? It's very engaging that way.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hey, Alicia, how are you?
Whoa, Mach 5 with my hair on fire. Woohoo, what an awesome day.
Yeah, good, very good.
How about you?
Yeah, same. I was just letting our group know that another day in paradise here for me as well, and looking forward to this meeting. I was reviewing some of the material here that you're going to share, and just excited for the group here to learn a bit.
Awesome, me too.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2 minutes before we start. If anybody wants to put some questions in the chat.
Yeah, if anybody wants to introduce themselves. I was trying to greet some folks as they were coming on, and I know everybody likes to, in the middle of the day, they got their mute buttons on and their cameras turned off, but we will proceed anyway.
Of course, doesn't make the best learning environment, but
yeah.
I was teaching yesterday on Zoom to a bunch of realtors, and morning was great. Everybody was awake, alert, and into it. In the afternoon, it was just like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I get it.
No better time to be in learning mode than now, though. That's for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's never been a better time when you can serve as a resource to your realtors or your financial partners in the business. I mean, it's just such an important time to have quality information to share with them, and they need the help. They're struggling, just like a lot of LOs are. So.
Very cool. Just checking in to see where Dwayne was, but I didn't catch him. I wanted to try and see if I get the stream key over to him or from him to stream over. That's all right. You can repost it later.
Yeah, let me see if I can message him.
Where's? So we'll have some other folks. I'm sure will sneak on here in the next couple of minutes. I've got us here, Alicia, at the top of the hour. So while you're messaging Dwayne, if you want, I can just make a quick introduction, and I'll back up a slide. I know that we talked about a bunch about some of the tips here, and we got some great content prepared. But I'm a running mate of Alicia's. We've been working together now for quite some time, and I've got a strong background in the world of prospecting and following up, and I'll have an opportunity to spend a little bit of time here with you all here as a way to show you some tips and skills and tricks and some nuggets along the way there. But really, the superstar is Alicia, and Alicia, if you haven't had an opportunity to study any of her past training content or learn about her experience in the mortgage industry, you've been missing out. She's written the best-selling books, and she's got a couple out there. And really, one of the things that she learned over the years, and I'll let her talk about, is just not to have to worry about what happens in a down market, because of the relationships that you wind up building that can create success for you. And so I've had the opportunity to learn a lot from her myself, and anytime that I'm invited to speak with her on a training topic like this, I get excited. So get ready. Hopefully you got some notes out there with you, or that you're going to take some notes there with you. Got a journal and pen with you, and we'll go ahead and jump in, and I'll navigate a little bit here on the slide deck. I got this one a little bit. I know there's one here before this I wanted to poke around to first, just so you can kind of introduce the topics here for everybody here, Alicia, and then we'll jump in and get started from there.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for being on the call. The first thing I want to talk about is basically what we're going to cover today. So, first of all, the secret weapon to getting realtors to work with you with actually providing very little value up front, which is a lot of times what unfortunately we do anyway. But we have a system for that. It's actually on purpose. Number two, how to destroy call reluctance. I've been getting a lot of calls lately, doing a lot of meetings with loan officers who want to train and they have call reluctance. Like, it's a real thing. And we're going to talk about ways you can just destroy that. We're also going to talk about how to semi-automate your referral partnerships. And how to create referral partners from unlikely sources that a lot of loan officers never think about, and they just give you deals and referrals like clockwork. So I'm really
Did you
excited
catch that
about
last part,
the
gang?
presentation.
Deals and referrals like clockwork. And I would just imagine, I mean, as you were putting together some of the topics here that we're going to go over, the real secret weapon to getting realtors to work with you while providing very low value up front. I almost thought that was a typo at first, right? Because value matters, right? I mean, people certainly look for value in any type of relationship that they have, but this is going to be fun here as we go through some of this information. And I'm going to, what I'll do is I'll push us along here we'll jump right into the very first secret number one. And I would think that for all of you out there, this was something that made you want to come to this particular training here today to get the information and figure out the secret weapon to get realtors to do business with you. I mean, even if it was providing so much value they couldn't stand, but I'm curious, Alicia, how do you go about getting realtors to do business with you without providing too much value?
Well, the secret hack is we build micro commitments on trust that builds trust, and we do it in a sequential fashion that
Yeah.
enables that trust to grow, right? Because a lot of us go and like we call till we get the appointment with the realtor. We go to the appointment, you meet for them, with them maybe 30 minutes, and they might say they're going to send us a deal. They might not say, they might not commit to that. But even if they do, they actually rarely send deals. Like, we think since we met with them for 30 minutes that, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, I got a partner now. It's like, I got a coffee date. And it doesn't really work that way. Like, you may have hounded them enough to get them to meet with you, but you haven't done the correct steps in the sequential order needed to build trust in the relationship. So we've created this. I mean, I get so many, people tell me how they got ghosted by this realtor, or, they've been cold calling realtors, for days, hours, weeks, whatever, months, and they just never call back. And this approach turns that on its head completely.
Yeah, and so like what I know for sure, gang, and I'd love to see if anybody has I saw a couple of people jumped on, welcome in. But if you struggle securing relationships with realtors that are going to send you business, I just be curious, like, how many were here of the three secrets? What secret are you wanting to learn the most about here today? Because I looked through some of the stuff and I was just trying to put myself in the shoes of you all sitting out there. This stuff matters. Like, one of the things that I know for sure, Alicia, is in the steps to move somebody through and communication to them. Like, you mentioned something that I think is so important. We have a tendency sometimes to do things out of order, right?
Yeah.
Like, the cadence of whatever your activities are now, sometimes we jump the gun on things and we just check things off the box. Like, if I'm trying to build a relationship with you, and that's where I'm at, I know that I cannot move you to some sort of a call to action or any of that sort of stuff yet until I've first established a relationship. What Alicia is going to talk about is a way for you to start getting that relationship going with your realtors that you need to. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to just take that information, do the activity without understanding the why behind the how, and then check it off and say, now I've got my relationship, and then move on to the next thing. Because then you might miss it and you start getting out a little bit ahead of yourself. And you do not want to get ahead of your skis when it comes to building a relationship, because everything else that comes after that doesn't matter if you do not secure the top part, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The steps that you do these things in are super important. And, it's like everybody wants to get married before they even date. right? And I'll throw another challenge out there because how many of you actually research realtors before you go and meet with them, or even before you pick up the phone and call them? Some loan officers do, but unfortunately, a lot don't, and that's a problem.
So as we're looking through some of the information here, is that you can see that we have the slide with the image of this mortgage marketing master app, and we're going to show you some of the information there. But one of the things that I want you to know in being here, everything that we are going to teach and show you here today, like we're going to give you something that you could do without necessarily having this app. What the app will allow you to do is press the easy button to do some of this using the words digitally that Alicia would use and the steps that she would share them in. So you have to take notes either way, but we'll stop a little bit throughout the way to give you guys a live demonstration on how some of this can look like in real life as you're going to execute on it. And by the way, if you do not have an outbound prospecting strategy where you're not reaching out to a handful of new realtors a day to start building a relationship with, everything else that we're going to talk about here, it doesn't matter anyway, right? Because as you know, when you're harvesting a list of contacts and you're starting to bring people together, you have to go through some numbers there to really start working on a relationship. I mean, you have to get people to know who you are first. Once they know who you are, then a lot of the stuff here we're going to talk about comes more relevant. So even as we wrap up here, just know there are steps in place that can help you start conversations as well that will close out with maybe an extra added tip at the end there if people are struggling there as well, Alicia. Right?
Yeah.
So people that are struggling, what do you do if you're struggling to get deals that actually close? What do you do, Alicia? What do you do if you're wasting hours cold callers that never call you back? What do you do if your pipeline is disappearing because of the current economic environment, which is very real out there now? I mean, those are the questions I know that come your way regularly from the loan officers all over the country that you train and that engage with you on social media. So where do you want to start with? Which one do you want to tackle here first?
Yeah, so let's talk about, there's basically 2 steps to the secret hacking, secret number 1. So the first one is you want to send out, you want to ask for permission to communicate, and that could be via text, via social media, and then you want to ask if you can send them some information. And that the first piece actually opens the door and creates doubt with whoever their first lender is that they're currently using. And that's, if we could show them that survey that we send out.
Yep.
And then the step 2 is the Do You Love Your Lender Relationships survey. So they're great. And that can be done one-to-one or one-to-many. And I'm a big fan of one-to-many because it's a huge time saver.
So what I did was just so you know, I pulled up the this is a demo of the Mortgage Marketing Master app. This is just that I screen shared here with you. And I want you to just don't necessarily worry about anything except for what we're focusing on, because you haven't seen this tool yet. It's the concept that matters, not the tool, right? If you understand the concept, again, you could do some of this stuff manually, but we're giving you something to look at here so you understand. Now, what I'm doing is I am moving over to a portion in the app that allows us to communicate with contacts, and we call it sharing resources in here. So basically, what Alicia is talking about, if I need to go out and communicate with realtors, and I tap on the button there that says Realtor Prospects, Alicia has provided steps, and I want you all to write these steps down as well. If you are taking notes, I want you to write down connect, add value, engage, and schedule. All right? That's your sequence, okay? And what Alicia's talking about is that we have to go out there and we have to talk to people who potentially don't know us. And look, something as simple, like if you have call reluctance, I know we're talking about that a little bit separately. I hope I don't mind Alicia being on the same topic.
Fine.
But the idea of calling somebody who doesn't know me yet, if you are fearful of that, one of the ways that you can overcome call reluctance is by not making phone calls, right? I mean, eventually you're never going to hear me say the phone isn't the most powerful tool when it comes to prospecting and following up. It's always there. But even just if you want to be able to start the lines of communication, sending out something as simple as a pre-written text is a great way to have a conversation with somebody. So if Alicia was a realtor, a superstar realtor, or just want a superstar realtor, maybe in the area, somebody I want to do business with, a message that I might send her, because I've done what she said. I've done some initial research to learn that she's a superstar. I could send her a message that says, "Hi, Lisa, you've got a great reputation in the industry, and I'd really like the opportunity to get to know you. I've got some information that could protect you from having deals fall apart while in process, and why 72% of mortgage applicants are dissatisfied with their lenders. Can I send it over?" Now, again, what I want you to do is you can screenshot this, you can write the words down, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you guys don't need the app to do this. Like, we're giving you all the information. We're just saying the app's the super easy button. And there's a whole lot of other tracking and amazing features.
Right.
But we're giving you the info so you can do this.
This is information that you can copy this information. And if you take immediate action when we hang up here and you go and you research 5 realtors and copy this text message and send it out to them, you are going to start the process. And we're going to give you the material behind it. Now, why are these words magic? Why are they important to that realtor, right? Now, if I was Alicia and she's that realtor, number one, I'm not asking for anything yet. This is my first point of communication with somebody who doesn't know me yet. And I'm trying to add, now we say is little value because I'm not offering her a free car to send me
Or pay for Zillow ads.
I'm not offering to pay for her advertising or anything. But what I am doing is I'm recognizing who she is as having a great reputation because I've done some due diligence. You want to know something? People obviously do business with people who they know, like, and trust. How do you get somebody to like you? You pay them a compliment. And all of a sudden, they'll start liking you more. So the person has a great reputation in the industry. You've acknowledged that and are paying a compliment. The next thing in here is that you have information that can protect them from having deals fall apart while in process, right? That she might want to know. 72% of mortgage applicants. This is all of you in your industry. I want you to know this is real. This is from J.D. Power and Associates. We pulled the data, right? And we have the report that shows that evidence. 72% of all mortgage applicants are dissatisfied with their lenders. Now, you could be saying to yourself, well, 7 out of 10 times, hey, at least we're all in the same boat. Or you could say, I'm going to separate myself from the pack, right? And I am not going to be that person. And just by you pointing out a problem in the very industry that you are part of, you're starting to separate yourself. So what Alicia is going to instinctively know, maybe she was aware of this problem. Oh, thank God you've reached out to me, Rocco, because every lender I send the business to, they do a bad job and my clients always let me know about it. But maybe they don't know. Maybe Alicia never gets word back from her because our clients are too, think it's awkward to go back and say, hey, that person you referred me to, they didn't do a good job for me. And she doesn't even know. So I'm bringing a problem to her attention that she probably didn't even know existed for the most part, right? I'm sounding the alarm saying, in your world, Alicia, 7 out of 10 of the people of your clients are unhappy with the person that you're referring them to.
And this is so real because all the time I hear the complaint from loan officers where they're like, oh, I closed this deal for the realtor and then they didn't send me other deals. I never heard from them again. Well, guess what? You're in the 70%. So what are you going to do differently next time? How are you going to figure that out? Like, they just don't even know to begin with. And so that's why this is so real and pertinent.
So now if Alicia is extremely happy with where she's at, or she's super busy, she may not get back to me, and I need to be okay with that. That's why I'm going to tell you to do 10 a day, right? Or 5 a day, whatever the case may be. You're going to catch some people at the right time when something just fell apart at the table and they're open to talk to somebody else. But more than anything, you're going to get people just be like, okay, prove that to me. Wow, I'd be interested in that because my business is affected by what it is that you are sharing with me, right? Like, I need to know that. If I'm a realtor, I definitely need to know that. So this is permission-based marketing at the same time. I'm not sending her the report. I'm asking her if she would like to see it based on the industry that she is in. And if she says, yes, she replies back to me and says, yes, then I will send it over, right? So this information, like I can promise you this, team, I can promise you guys this. People do not care about what your solution is until they know that they have a problem, okay? Once they are aware that they have a problem, they go looking for the solution right back to the very person who let them know that they had the problem to begin with. And questions direct the mind, right? This simple question I apologize, Alicia. Somebody keeps, I think I have my landscaper up front. I'm going to pause here in 2 seconds and let you take over. I have to go run him up some cash. But my point is, as questions direct the mind, what you start to understand, they start to think, oh my goodness, this is something that I should probably be aware of. So Alicia, talk to the group for 2 minutes and I will be right back with you and we'll continue.
Rocco's a trip. So yeah, that's why we set up the app exactly like this. So that JD Power survey goes out, and then there's another survey that you can send them, or you can use this social survey and send it one to many, which is a great tool that you can use. You can send it via Messenger. Any of these things you can send from text message. It actually comes out from your real phone number, not a fake number. And then your real email or whatever info you put in for your contact for the app. But the other survey that I love is, do you love your lender relationships? And I feel like this is so important for a few reasons. One, we hardly ever ask our realtors how they actually want to be communicated with, right? We just talk about our products, our deals, and maybe even, right, that they're going to close on time. So if you look at the big picture, there's a lot more that they actually care about. So I'm just going to share with you real quick the are you in love with your lender survey. So the first question is, do you have a lender you're actively sending your referrals to, right? Yes or no? Okay, because maybe they don't. Maybe they're a listing agent and you didn't really realize that. Second question, in your opinion, what's the most important aspect of a strong partnership with your lender? They provide frequent updates on deals in process. They share co-marketing opportunities with you. They refer clients to you. They close all the deals you send them, right? They can check one, none, or all the above. And then the other thing that's very interesting, especially now, and this is really relevant and pertinent, given the choice, what would be your optimal form of receiving communication from your lender? Email, phone, and text. And this is also super important for your clients. You got to ask them that. We have a whole nother survey for that, potential clients. So, and then what's your desired level of follow-up, right? I have some realtors where they'll just flat out say, that's your job. I don't want to hear from you and I'll see you at closing, right? Unless there's a huge problem, and there better not be, right? How many of you guys say that? But then there are the other ones, right? The nervous Nellies who are extremely concerned about their paycheck, and they want to know everything, right? So they can tell us here exactly how they want to be treated. And I mention it because everybody talks about the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But the platinum rule is to do unto others as they actually want to be taken care of, right? So instead of you making it up or thinking they're like you, you're actually just going to have them filled out this survey. And again, it's a great starter. And then last, which following best describes relationship with your last current lender. I love them, they're okay, or I'm looking for a new lender, right? So right there, like if they love their lender, you know, you definitely don't want to go in knock on their lender. You want to go in and see if you can first of all find out who their lender is and pump them up, right? Because they owe that, you owe them, that realtor and that lender, that respect. Because they say they love them, then they say they're okay. You got a little window opening there. And then the other check is I'm looking, the other option is I'm looking for a new lender. So super important. And that opens it up. And then you can start to build a relationship from there. And there's so many ways that you can get stuck in the minutia. And these kinds of questions and this information, again, you could send it right to the realtor. I mean, honestly, if you go to a closing and you are the buyer, I've sent this survey to the agent on the listing side at the transaction and had him fill it out. And bam, you're starting that relationship right there, right? You showed up at the closing. I don't know if you guys, depending on where you live, if you can start doing that again, but it's a great opportunity, not only for a social media shot with your clients and your realtor, but to get to know the listing agent as well. It's a great reason to go to a closing. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. I know I missed a little bit, but the survey itself, it's a little bit more than just a show and tell piece of content that you share. You know, there's an engagement. They are actually participating in what you are sending them to fill it out. So if we did send the the report that talks about the JD Power, 72% of people not, they can look at that, but there's nothing that's really, responsive on their end that makes it two-way. This survey is actually getting them to engage back with you, which it is starting to really form a better relationship than they knew you before. If they fill it out there, there's indication to you that they're open to communicating with you, or they would have just ignored it, right? Or not filled it in. And I want to ask you a quick question, everybody, and just, you don't have to blurt it out all at once, because I know everybody's dying to answer and unmute themselves. But what color is your house? What color is your house? And the reason why I ask that question is because I know, without even being able to read your minds, that I hijacked your mind. And for the brief second I asked that question, you could not help but to think about the color of your house. And that's what these questions are doing. You're starting to direct the mind from where you want the person to go with you, right? They're starting to think about things that nobody else has taken the time to ask them, like Alicia was talking about there. So they probably never gave two thoughts before about, like, well, nobody's ever asked me how I like to be communicated with. How about that? Boy, not only did they do some good due diligence on me, even the first way that they reached out with a simple message, but then they're also saying, hey, if we ever did do, but how would you like to be communicated with, right? See, the thing is that it's not paying for somebody's ads on Zillow, neither is the report or the way that you introduce yourself to them. It doesn't perceive to be high value from a monetization standpoint, but the high touch nature of taking these extra little steps to cultivate your relationship, you're earning respect and you are looked at as a professional with credibility for the person you're sending this stuff to. So again, within here in the app itself, again, we're not going to train on how all this app works. But what we do want you to know is that these tools that are in here, we're going to get into some of the other steps here and the other tips here in a second. But all of these tools that were tips that we're going to talk about in here today, Alicia has taken the time to distill all her pearls of wisdom in the industry and everything she knows. And she's created this app to give you the resources, the messaging, the steps to share them in, and all the tracking capabilities, not for you to manage hot prospects, right? Like people that you've pulled credit reports for and that sort of thing. What she has created here for you is a prospecting system that sits at the very top of your funnel. And for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more about how a tool like this could propel you, this is like the commercial for that real quick before we continue on with the training, all right? But for those of you that are interested in learning a little bit more, we ask you to if I'm going to she put in the chat box there, I'll bring it up here on the screen. But if you go to loanofficerreferralsecrets.com, you can learn more about this tool and how it could potentially propel your business, and actually take a trial of this app here. So Alicia, you want to speak to that real quick, and then we can jump back into the slide deck and get on with some more of the training.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is not a CRM. It goes over the place of your CRM before you even get your clients and your realtors in your loan operating software and your LOS, right? So the good thing about that is if you go somewhere, you can take all those contacts with you. You're not pulling anything out of the loan operating software that you're not supposed to. It all starts from your phone. Any contacts you have in your phone, say you want to follow up with somebody you haven't talked to in a while, right? There's a lot. What about all the buyers that didn't get their offers accepted in the last 12 months? The market's shifting. This is a great way to have them, if you didn't already have them, on a campaign, to reach out and just touch base with them. If you have great relationships, definitely pick up the phone and just call. Absolutely. But the app's a great way to start, because any given time, and anything that anybody is selling, the statistics are basically only 3% of the universe needs your product right now, right? And that's great, okay? Because that's how we get deals in this month, right? And close them quick. But the reality is that other 97% go through a sales funnel. And this is the funnel that helps just 5, 10, 15 contacts a day. Follow up playing with this app. You'll build consistently your pipeline month and month and month again.
Yeah, and so loanofficerreferralsecrets.com. You go there, check it out, take a, you hit the button there to register. You can take advantage of the trial offer there, but check it out. We're going to be doing a boot camp coming up in a couple of weeks. We're really going to drill down and do more trainings like this, but also in particularly how it all marries up to the app. So everything that Alicia teaches in paid trainings, her mastermind groups, all that stuff, basically you can learn how to do all that stuff manually, keep plugging in trainings like this, but also if you want an opportunity, press the easy button and use the app to send the information, to track it, to manage those relationships and contacts, then this is a tool you should certainly look into. So with that said, why don't we move on? Did we finish all of secret number one, or did I miss something there, Alicia?
I think we got it with all the surveys that we touched on.
Okay.
Because it definitely is the easy button to start building. So yeah, secret number 2, how to destroy call reluctance, right?
All right, let me catch up to you. Call reluctance. Oh, all right. That's one thing.
Easy to use resources effectively, what to send and when. So we're just basically going to go through the sequencing that the app gives you. Like you don't have to figure out what message to send when. It is all already done for you in a sequential order.
Okay, I'm gonna give my tip for everybody that, right, if you are taking notes, the worst time to think of what to have to say and do is in the moment you have to say and do it. Okay. And I need y'all to remember that and try and internalize it, because what will happen is tomorrow, if you go to sleep tonight, you say, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to attack the marketplace. I'm going to do 25. Alicia told me to do 5 or 10. I'm going to do 50 tomorrow. I'm going to, reach out to 50 realtors tomorrow. And then what happens is that when you go to walk towards this 8,500-pound device to make that phone call or whatever the case may be, we got to make sure that when we reach out, that we seem credible and that we are confident in what we're doing, right? And if we are fumbling around with the words because we haven't thought them out in advance, and even if you have thought them out in advance, which is totally fine, are they the same words that somebody with the credibility and experience that Alicia would say, right? And I want you to think about it. For those of you that know basketball, Michael Jordan, if the game was on the line and somehow you got the ball with 5 seconds left and you were able to embody the greatest basketball player of Michael Jordan to step inside your body and take that shot for you, would you do that, or would you trust yourself? You see, I am one that I don't need to. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat. And Alicia is basically taking the words that she would use verbally and she's digitized them for you in this app and saying, here's the order. And so you know what to say, when to say it, and the steps to take it in. Because I think that most people would, the answer that they say, yeah, I have struggled with what to say to a new referral partner, right? We give you that simple pre-written text. Imagine.
Or you say the wrong thing and you ruin it. Sorry to interrupt,
exactly.
Rocco, but that's it, right? There's either you don't know what to say, or you say the wrong thing, or you can say the right thing. Like there's kind of the 3 you can choose from, and you can just pick the right thing over and over and over again and watch it work for you.
And I do want to give credit to somebody that might say to like, hey, I've gone through I get through my numbers, and I get through it and I get through it and I get through it. And I'm finding my way through it. Like I am not failing, I'm maintaining, I'm getting through it. Kudos to you for sure. But if there was a way that you could scale, meaning that's the name of the game in your world and in anybody's world that's in marketing sales, it's what I call exposures and engagements. And it's set up in the app. The exposures is the amount of people that you reach out and send information to. And I don't care if you're sending smoke signals or you're sending some of the fancy content that's already pre-baked in the app for you, or you're making phone calls, right? But exposures is the key. Engagement is when people participate what it is that you send them. And if you really want to measure the effectiveness of how you are doing in prospecting, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about sales. Prospecting and sales are 2 totally different things. And we could talk about sales, we could do some of that on another training, but prospecting is where most people fall down. Like that's where they just kind of just thinking, well, if I get people in front of me, I'm great. I can sell ice to an Eskimo, or I've learned this awesome presentation. I could walk them through this and that. Okay, well, that's great. But do you get the people in front of you? And showing up every day consistently, knowing your exposures and engagement is what the difference maker is. So if you go, it's great if you say, I called 10 realtors today, or I sent them 10 of those text messages that we gave you to send out. What I want you to start tracking is how many people participate and engage back into you. And what will happen is a ratio will appear for you. If you can probably get somewhere around 70% of the people you send information out to engage with you, and you just do 5 exposures a day, again, it doesn't matter exactly what the exposure is, right? I don't care if it's smoke signals or phone calls or fancy digital messages. The point is that you will have more business than you would know what to do with probably in 90 to 120 days from now.
Yeah, the
Right.
bottom line is if you do the income producing activities effectively and consistently, you will grow your business. Like that's it.
Now-
I mean, it's a lot more intense and intricate than that, but that's the reality. If you're not doing income producing activities consistently and correctly, you'll be struggling every month.
So let me do this full circle, Alicia, and we'll just think about this from if I am plodding along and I am making 50 exposures a day, that's a lot, right? There's no doubt that's a lot. But hey, at the end of the month, I'm able to say that I got 5 or 6 new loans, if that's a lot. I don't even know what the right volume is, but it's paying my bills, right? Maybe I haven't broken through, but I'm doing pretty darn good and I'm making 50 exposures a day. What I want you to do is look at your engagement rate, gang. And if your engagement rate is only 25%, right? What
Yeah,
if
you want to
could
share
make
that
your
part on the
engagement
app with them so they can see that?
Yeah, sure. Yep. And what if you could make your engagement rate 75%? Because at 75%, you would triple your amount of production that you would have without talking to more people. And that's where I want this now. I'm going to bring it back up here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example on the app here. And again, you don't have to do this with the app per se, but it's something that you should definitely track for yourself, because the truth of the matter is that if you are able to have a higher engagement rate and without making more exposures, it's the way that you increase your income without having to increase the amount of work that you do. Now, how do
Right.
we do?
So I was
Right?
going to say, and the other part of the key is we'll walk them through the sequence, because that's the part with called reluctance. You don't even have to call them. You can message
No,
them,
that's-
you can text them, and you can build the relationship that way until you're comfortable with an in-person meeting.
Yeah, because the question should come to your mind. Well, that's brilliant, Rocco. Yeah, great. I know that if I could get more people to pay attention to me, then I'm going to have better numbers, right? But the question that they should be asking themselves is, how do I get more people to talk to me? Well, you use the words that the person that's already blazed the trail of where you're trying to walk has done. And that's what Alicia has created for you. So I'll show you those steps there in the sequence, but the exposures and the engagement. Look, this month, this demo app, bad me, right? It's only the 9th of the month, but it says in here this month, 0 exposures and 0 engagement. So is the process that Alicia teaches not working, or am I not working? If this is my app, right? If Alicia, if you were a coach and somebody that you were coaching had called you up and said, Alicia, I've tried your system and nobody's working. And if she would say, you better have this darn app, because she'd tell you to take a screenshot of the dashboard of your app and send it to her. And she'd be like, hey, Rocco, guess what, buddy? It's the 10th of the month and you're not working. You haven't exposed anybody to this. And this is your own personal dashboard, your scorecard, your accountability for your prospecting and follow-up, which is the lifeblood of your business. So anyway, so I'm going to flick over to these resources again, Alicia, and we want to look at the realtor prospects.
Yeah, let's just walk them through the sequence. So when
Right.
we
So we
talk about,
started
yeah,
to
if you-
unpack it a little bit there. I got a little bit out of order. But the first thing is like, okay, well, let's connect, right? And the message is already written there for me. So how do I get that message there? Well, I can do a couple things. I can email it to Alicia if she's the realtor I want to speak with. I could text it to her, or I could send it to her maybe on LinkedIn private message or Facebook Messenger, whatever social channel she likes to be best communicated on. That's the power of a tool. That's getting more
Yeah.
ground covered.
And let me just jump in here, because let me give you got any loan officers another tip. If you spent as much time utilizing social media as a sales tool as you do scrolling, that alone, if you just made that shift, right? Even if you did 25% of your time on social media, using this survey and sending it out to realtors that you're already connected with on Facebook or LinkedIn. If you made that much of a shift, that much of a change, and did your 5, 10, 15 exposures a day to realtors, it would be a game changer.
So
You're
the
on
next
there
step-
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. There's the idea of doing the activity, right? So in this preview message, hey, you know, can I send it over? And Alicia says, hey, Rocco, I'm interested. Let me see what you got. Send it over to me. Now I could search and look for this report from JD Power and Associate yourselves, and you can find it. Or you could have it prepared as a blog article on a perfectly built landing page already set up and customized for you that you can send over to somebody with your footer information down the bottom for somebody to reach back to you. And that's what happens when you use the app. All the content from that article is personalized and set up from you to go out to send to a prospect. So it's not just some third-party piece. You know, we use third-party content and give an attribution for sure, but it's professional. It's on a nice little slick landing page that's for you. So now Alicia gets this and she looks through and she's like, wow, that's some stuff I didn't know that most of the deals fall apart. You know, that I really should pay attention to this. Even when the transaction works out, many borrowers who are your clients, Mr. Realtor, still leave the deal frustrated with their lender. According to a recent survey conducted by JD Power Associates, 72% of consumers felt disappointed. Now, here's the deal. This is now giving social proof and authority in both the same message, right? JD Power and Associates, they provide the information. All these other people are dissatisfied and they're also authority on your behalf. You didn't have to do anything but send it over. You're adding now, this is totally different than paying for somebody's what'd you call it? The Zillow, right? Paying that thing for them. You are building value with them and you're moving them. After I built some value with Alicia, then we go back to the possible Meg. What I want to do next to engage a little bit more. Should I send her the I love your lender survey? And by the way, when we go to send these messages, there's it's not just the asset that goes out to it. It's the pre-written message. Again, increase your engagement rate by using the expert's words. So the simple little messages that go with these resources are the words that Alicia would use. We're not talking about long form copy or anything. It's like, hey, based on how we met, I thought you would like to have this information sent over to you, or the exact dialogue that you would use. And the other thing that you have the ability to do is send out your digital business card so they have your contact information. So I will just send this over here to my lovely wife. There we go. And it would say, hi, Alicia, you have a great reputation in the industry. I'd like to get to know you. Could I send you some information? And what winds up happening is now that there's this digital business card as the resource here, that when you sign up, you'll get access to this. Now, right now, I assume that many of you carry around maybe a paper business card or some other QR type code or anything, but you could put all of your information, your social media buttons, everything on this digital business card. And if I sent this over to Alicia, she could hit save contact button, and that imports all of my information onto her device on her phone. What a great conversation starter. Hey, Alicia, I'd like to send you over my digital business card. Can I have your number and I'll push it over to you now? Right?
Or even how many people run out of business cards, but we always have our phones on us.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
We always do, right? Now, once we start moving through, and by the way, guys, there are some automations that are built into this app for longer term follow-up, but you're building relationships with people. It needs to be done authentically. So if you start triggering people into some automation campaign too prematurely, you're violating the principles of authenticity, which is required in 2022 in order to build solid relationships with people. Now, then after you've been able to send them over the survey or your digital business card, then you just want to move to a spot where you are inviting them to some sort of a meeting with you. I'd love to schedule some time with you. What's your availability? Oh my God, imagine how simple is it? 8 words there, right? For something like that. But you've earned the right to do that if you went from connect, add some value, get them to engage a little bit so they know you, lower resistance. And now you have a chance to earn the right to actually have a meeting with them. And that's where the best you shines. You're going to show up. Now, if you go right from connect down to, hey, let's get together and meet, that seems a little bit like speed dating, does it? Right? Like
Yeah.
that's where it gets awkward. So this is how you are able to do, this is the long way to the shortcut, right? This is the necessary steps that we have to go through in order to gain influence over somebody to potentially want to get to know us, for them to want to do business with us and agree to actually take some sort of action with us, right? So these steps are built into just about every category of contact that you should have to help propel your business forward, right, Alicia?
Absolutely. And again, you don't even have to pick up the phone. You can text message them. You can send them a message on social media. You can email them. I would pick email as the last choice, especially when you're starting to initiate it. But definitely text, one on social media and through messaging, and one to many on your pages. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to pick up the phone until you're ready. In the meantime, you're building a relationship step by step, day after week with them.
So I'm gonna show one more thing on the app. I read this. I wish I could cite this for everybody right now, but I had read that somewhere's around less than 10% of all salespeople from all industries at the conclusion of a sale, Alicia, actually ask for a referral. All right.
I believe it.
And so let us talk about that for a second, because we actually, look, again, this is just something that you have to do to expand your list of potential clients or other referral partners. And I'm just going to show this one off here for you for another thing here. The best compliment that I can ever receive, Alicia, is what?
Referral.
All right. So here in the app, we even got these neat little referral pages that if you're asking for a realtor referral, you can send this over to somebody. The best compliment I could receive is a referral. What realtors do you know that would appreciate my communication style and work ethic? Right. So we brought you all the way down to where you connect and engage with them. They have a meeting with you. What do you do when you leave that meeting? Maybe Alicia doesn't have anything in the pipeline, but she might know another realtor right away that is dealing with a loan that maybe I can jump in and help out with, right? So I can send this over to Alicia and make it easier on her to connect me to those people. And she can add in as many of those names as she wants, right? And again, this looks very credible for me. It's sleek. It's a way I collect new information. And when those names get submitted into here, they populate as new contacts in my app. Now, if you're not using the app, I don't know why, but it's okay. What you would want to do instead is you would want to make sure that you put together some sort of a PDF document, something that you can send over to somebody, maybe create some kind of Google form or something like that as a way for you to be able to have something to, don't just say, hey, can I have the name of somebody? It's like, let me send you this. There's an expectation there of reciprocation. If I've done a good job for you, you want to honor that relationship and do something back for me, but I've got to lead you a little bit more. I've got to actually put something in front of you to push you to actually take that action step. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, Alicia, I had somebody yesterday that I owed a piece of information to, but it was not written down. It was not in front of me, and I did not get it in time, right? And I was just like, sorry, it got away from me. And I had to go back and I'll take care of it now, but we're giving a referral, and we got to get them on the spot and give them an easy way to get that referral to you, right?
Yeah, and first of all, not enough loan officers even ask their realtors for other realtor referrals. It's just not something to do all the time, and we should. And you can do it more than once. You can do it every time you call them with an update. You can do it every time you're at a closing. What other realtors do you know that would appreciate my communication style and work ethic? I had a realtor the other day. She's getting coached, and she sent me a message, and she was like, hey, my coach challenged me to get 5 more Google reviews. Will you give me a Google review? And I think she's a phenomenal realtor. So I said, yeah. She goes, so if you give me the review, I'll give you one too. And I said, I've plenty of reviews. So I said, I'd love to give you a review. What I'd like is for you to give me some realtor referrals. And I texted her this, and I got the referrals back. So I mean, it's so easy when it's done for you. If I didn't have the app and the easy button, I would have had to be on hold with her while she thought about who she was going to give me. And instead, I just send it over and bam.
Yeah, it's like you're in the fast lane, right? And everybody else is kind of stuck in traffic. All right, so look, we got one more big secret here to uncover. But before we do that, again, just if you look in the chat, there is the loanofficerreferralsecrets.com, which is going to wind up taking you over to the Mortgage Marketing Master app site here, where you can take the trial for $1 for 2 weeks and get access to everything that's in the app. And after that, it's only $99 a month. If you I'm sure you will. You'll see the value in creating. I mean, look, if you're not going to do the activity, don't even bother downloading the app.
Yeah,
or
because
taking
don't
the
get
trial,
started
because-
and then don't do it. Like if you want to build your pipeline, get started now. You'll have a lot more referrals. You'll have a lot more business. Your business will be growing by the end of August. So I mean, it's one of those challenges where if you're not gonna use it, then like don't even waste your time downloading it.
Yep.
But if you're not, then don't do something else. Right? You guys are all on this call because you have a need to build your pipeline consistently, or you wouldn't be here. So make a promise to yourself, whatever you decide to do. You know, if it's going to be 5, 10 new contacts a day, or it's going to be the app and you're going to work it through the easy button in the app, you know, or you go get coached somewhere, you know, whatever it is, you have to be committed, because if you're not committed right now where we are, and you're not doubling down where we are in the industry, it's going to continue to be a downhill slide.
Yeah, and that's like the real talk stuff, right? Is that it does nobody any good to not talk about the reality of market conditions, right? I mean, but the truth is that market conditions change, things go up, things go down. There's opportunities like in every market condition that exists out there. But the real challenge that we have in the midst of everything else is to stay consistent on the one thing of going out there and making sure that we're putting ourselves in front of people on a daily basis. The saying never said, eat 30 apples in one day and then don't do anything the other 29, right? Of the month, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. And you start developing those habits and routines. If you are at just 5 new contacts a day, if you made that your goal in the morning and you had a simple way, like then your business will grow by the number of operations you can perform without having to think about them. You reserve your mental energy for when you actually are communicating with somebody, but not the action steps that you take to communicate with them, right? That wastes some of your mental energies. And so here you have the ability to just kind of set yourself up when everybody else is going to be, and I've heard you say, Alicia, there's going to be a lot of attrition in the next 12 months or so in your industry. And
It's already happening. Yeah, it's already happening. Realtors and loan officers, both, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's spend the rest of our.
That's okay. More room for everybody else who's ready to crush it.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So how to semi-automate your referral partnerships without a clunky CRM? What the heck does that mean? Talk to us.
So again, when we talk about one-to-one and then one-to-many, we want to share the resource library, Rocco, and look at the content. We talked about they're already placed in the best order to share based on a proven sales process, which we've mentioned. And the thing that I love about the app is it's the perfect blend of authenticity and automation. So what you're actually doing is, yes, you can put them on a drip campaign, right? And we showed you a little bit of what that would look like. So you can see what goes out, right? But I've even had LOs ask me, you know, how come I can't send them something every week? Right? That's not how it works, right? You don't want to spam somebody every week. You ask any realtor if they read the stuff that gets opened, if they actually open those emails that go out to them every week, and their answer is 9 times out of 10, no, I don't. I mean, I asked a real room full of 40 realtors I was teaching yesterday, you know, how many of you guys actually read that kind of stuff when it goes to you? And like, you know, one hand went up, right? Because they're busy too. And if you're not adding value, and that's the other thing about these, the drip that go out are written by a human, and they are all designed to add value. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is that, again, the blend of authenticity and automation. Other than the email drip, you decide what goes out to them when, which is why it's also like just jump on the app 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, knock out what you have to do, boom, boom, boom. And really that engagement you'll see in the sequence. So if you want to share that, Rocco.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah.
Where you want to go to? Which one?
So I would just show campaigns real quick, because this is the autopilot, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see the realtors, like they're not getting weekly spam. Like we don't want them to get weekly spam, right? We would rather you be building a real relationship with them. And these aren't spam.
Yeah, these are very short, sweet, to the point things that they would want to know, clickable resources to let you know a contact is engaged with what you're sending out to them. I'll put it to you this way, gang, and hopefully, right, that you are sitting somewhere right now with a list of 100 names on them, and maybe let's just say they're all realtors, right? Your wish list, right? If you follow the steps that we showed you in those resources where you're manually sending stuff out to them and you're moving them down from connect to value to engage to meeting, what I'm going to give you some reality is that probably if you have a list of 100, you are probably only going to have about 10 to 20% of those people move from one step to the next with no hiccups at all. I mean, you caught them at the right time, or they're a very open-minded person, or they liked your message, right? And they're going to be moving right through them to where you get that meeting. You're going to start to be able to do business with them. The other 80% are going to politely stop you somewhere, maybe in the engage, after you send them over the value of the article. They're like, hey, that was great information, Rocco, but I'm too busy. I've got other mortgage people I've already committed to, or whatever the case may be. Wherever you get stopped in those manual steps of moving people down the funnel to meet with you, wherever they stop you, that's when you reply back to them, Alicia, no problem. Would it be okay if I kept in touch with you from time to time? I promise I'm not going to spam your inbox with some value added messages for you. And that way, if the circumstances change or the timing is different, you'll know where to find me in the future. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
She's not going to say no to that. She's just not going to, because of the way I've presented it. Now, what happens is that we start moving those realtors that stop us, which is going to be about 80% of them, into a campaign like this, where they're getting messages that are really, really designed to help the realtor just learn more about their own business. Like, hey, why keep an eye on property values? Home insurance saving ideas, just things that they can think about for their own clients. It's not related to, hey, please send me a loan. Here I am. I'm waiting for you, darn it. I've connected with you. I've added value. Why have you not sent it to me yet? No, this is just something that we keep in touch with them, 80 to 90% of people who aren't ready for us yet. So we can spend our time focused on working with the 10 to 20% who are interested right now. Okay, so it's the best of all worlds there. And that's how the campaigns work. So you need to have something yourself. Again, if it's not a tool like this, I'm going to tell you, a clunky CRM is what you used on the title slide, Alicia. It's also very, very easy to sniff out for the person that, like, if you automate me and it seems like spam, then I'm going to do that right back to you and push you right back to my junk folder. So there's a delicate way to do it. Set this app up nicely for them to do that. Kudos to you.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, and people can see it coming a mile away, right? It's 2022. It's not 2003, and email is new, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I sat down on a webinar from Black Knight last month on the economic state of the country, which was actually in the housing industry, which was fascinating. And now I'm on their drip campaign, and I'm like, really, Black Knight? I don't even need your services, So it's just. It has to be authentic, or it's a waste of time. And actually, if it's not, it can completely alienate them. So that's why we like the blend of authenticity and automation. So
yeah, look, there's Greg. Here's where we'll wrap up. We'll bring the page up there in a second. Greg asked a question. Will I receive coaching training on how to use the app in best practice, or do it yourself once I buy it? And here's the thing, Greg. I'm going to say to you, no, there is no training on best practices. What there is there's training on how to prospect and build your pipeline, right? We are always going to show you how to do the things that you can do manually. And if you choose to use the app as the easy button, yes, you will learn how to do that. But it's basically going to be things that you will pick up. As a matter of fact, inside the app itself, and we're continuing to add more things in here. But if you notice, there's a little coaching icon there. And if I tap on that, you know, there's all kinds of different videos in here for you to watch to even learn how to use the app as well. But yeah, I mean, I was joking when I said, no, we're not going to train. But what we want to be able to do is make sure that not just showing you how to use, hey, here's how you add a new contact to the app. You press this button and add a new contact, right? We're interested in the why behind the how. That's why all the other technology and the things that are out there, people are, you know, addicted to some of that stuff, knowing how to use every nook and cranny. But that stuff does not drive the lead measure in your business of prospecting and following up. It really is a waste of time to be able to get to what you need to do. So our goal is not to just train you on how to use the app. It's how to execute it and the why behind the how of prospector first mentality. And that's the secret of all the secrets in here. So yeah, there's going to be, you'll get access to exclusive boot camps, VIP trainings. We run contests within here and that sort of thing. And again, the content gets updated by the person who is what I consider to be the best in the business there with Alicia. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And I'll bring that page up one last time here, Alicia, and we'll give everybody a chance to look at the trial. But any more comments, we can certainly stay behind for a couple extra minutes for anybody that has some questions. But anything you want to add in?
I mean, just looking at, you know, that you can assign individuals or groups. You know, you decide when you're going to drop them into a campaign. It's all up to you. It's not like you're just dumping them all in there. Like the app is not designed to do that. It's permission-based marketing that you'll do step by step. And that's why, you know, one day it's 5 people you're going to reach out to. The next day it's 10 people. The next day it's 15 people. And then again, you're spending 10, 15 minutes following up with those people, following up. And then again, it doesn't have to be the same people every day, right? You know,
Yeah.
But if you're prospecting consistently, it'll work. So, so secret number 4, I want to share with you guys, how to create referral partnerships from unlikely sources that you've been told will never send you deals. Okay. So I'm just going to talk about that briefly, real quick. People always tell me they can't get referrals from homeowners insurance agents. And then when I actually share with people what to say and when and how to set up the appointment, when they actually do that, for those of you who were on the 2-day challenge last month, awesome. For those of you that missed it, send me an email and we'll figure out a way for you guys to get access. But the bottom line is I did that challenge and only one person actually did the homework. And the one person that did the homework got the deal. One phone call, got the deal. And that's because when you consistently use scripts that have already figured out the hack that works, you have the easy button. It's just up to you to use it. So when we talk about how to create referral partnerships from unlikely sources that you've been told will never send you deals, the homeowners insurance agent is just one of those, right? There's also financial planners. There's also life insurance agents. There's also attorneys. There's also CPAs. You just have to know what to say to them to get them to do that, right?
So being part of this community is how you'll be able to get more and more of those nuggets as we go. The neat thing about having the app, and just Greg, to your point, is what you'll find is Alicia is going to kind of be there coaching in your ear every step of the way through push notifications, you know, updated trainings and things of that nature. So it's all tied to the growth of your business and keep learning more secrets. The loan officer referralsecrets.com is where you can go to get access. Take the trial there for a couple of weeks. I think it's like $1 or something for 2 weeks. And then after that, $99 a month to keep it. And our promise to you is that your business is going to wind up with at least a couple extra deals a month if you do the activity to follow through. There is no set it and forget it world. If there was, then the company, the banks that you work with, they wouldn't need us. They wouldn't need you guys, right? So coming to that reality is like, okay, well, there is no set it and forget it world. What can I do to still be consistent and participate and show up in a digital world, but almost as if I'm doing traditional outreach and connecting with live people at the same time? This is the best of both worlds. And hopefully you got the information here on some of these tips. Just taking a handful of what you learned here today, I can promise if you did that activity and then I interviewed you in a month from now, Alicia would give you 150 copies of her best-selling book if your business did not grow to some degree to make the hour that you spend here with us today is a good investment on your time. So I'm out of gas, Alicia. I don't know if you have anything left, closing words, but it was great to be with you once again, as always. And looking forward to being able to connect with some of you all in the trainings that we'll be doing here in the future as well.
Yep. So yeah, thanks for everybody being on the call. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, definitely throw them in the chat. Just hang on another 10 seconds, see if anybody starts typing. If not, hey, cheers to your success. This is a phenomenal time in our industry. Phenomenal time in our industry for you to break away from the pack.
Awesome. All right. I know you're all hiding out there and your camera's turned off and it's okay. We will get you next time on the other side.
My pleasure,
Thanks.
Greg. Thanks. Thanks, and thanks,
Take care,
Rocco.
everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Oh, thank you both.
Oh, Erica, what are you doing now? What is he?
I've been here just camera off. So thank you.
Hopefully we'll talk again one day soon. Thanks, Erica. It's nice to meet you.
All right. You too, Rocco. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.